Alright gang, here we go. Today we're exploring density. So density is what makes something sink or float. So a lead sinker obviously is going to sink. Can't get it in the frame here. There we go, lead sinker. Obviously that's going to sink. Alright. Meanwhile a ping pong ball is going to float. Alright. The ping pong ball is less dense than the water. The lead sinker is more dense than the water. So we have a little challenge for you here today, playing with density. What you're going to be doing is you're going to take this egg and notice that it sinks to start. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make it hover. Not float, not sink, but hover. So your container is already going to have some liquid in it and some salt has already been added. That's just to sort of conserve a little bit of salt so that we don't have to use too much. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add more water because we want our egg to hover in between the two black lines. Add some water. Now let's see what our egg does now when I put it back in. Okay, you can see the egg sinks right to the bottom. That's because the egg is more dense than the water. However, we can change the density of the water by adding salt, regular old table salt. So, sodium chloride is the chemical name of salt. Alright, so once I have my water to approximately the upper line, I'm going to go ahead and add salt. And what this is going to do is it is going to increase the density of the water. So I add salt, stir it around real good. Now what is happening at the molecular level is that the salt crystals are being pulled apart. The salt molecules are being pulled apart by the positive and negative charges, the hydrogen positive and oxygen negative charges of the water molecules. We'll get more into that later. So now, water's a little cloudy, but you can see that the egg is floating. The egg is floating near the top. You can see how the egg is right there. Now, it's just bobbing at the surface, so I'm pretty close right here. So now what I need to do is, remember, before the egg sunk, and now the egg is floating. So what I need to do is I'm going to slightly adjust the density of the water by adding plain tap water. Pour in little bits at a time so that you don't go too far. Remember, what we're trying to do is to get the egg to be suspended in between the two black lines. Of course, my water's a little cloudy here, so it's difficult to see, but here's another example that I have for you. And this one, the egg has achieved neutral buoyancy, meaning it is floating, it is suspended, it's hovering in between the two black lines. So that's what you're trying to do. Once you've achieved this, call me over. Let me see how you did. And then you can clean up. So what I'd like you to do when you are cleaning up is to, again, we're trying to conserve some of the water, so take your egg out first. Put it back in the tray. And then I want you to pour your solution out, your saltwater solution, until you get to approximately the black line, the bottom black line. That's just going to help us save a little bit of salt, so we don't have to use quite as much during the course of this lab, and then the other groups will use your started salt water. Make sure you clean up using a damp paper towel. Throw away any paper towels. Save the egg. We're using the same egg for all the classes today, so be careful you don't break it. Wipe up really well. Obviously it's salt, so it's going to be kind of messy and sticky and all that good stuff. Wipe your station down. Use a damp paper towel first, and then dry paper towel. Dump out any leftover water. Put your spoon back in there, and then have your solution sitting there on the table, egg back in the tray. All right, go to it.